Thank you. I am Shannon Amos, the daughter of John Amos Jr., the granddaughter of John Amos Sr., the great-granddaughter of Alonzo Amos, the great-great-granddaughter of Amos. I know who I am. I know who I am because my father taught me the power of knowing my African lineage. I know who I am because I am connected to my ancestors. I know who I am because I carry their memories in my DNA. History would have you believe our story begins with slavery, with Amos arriving as a baby on a plantation in southern Georgia. But our story, our true story, reaches far beyond those shores, back to the magnificent kingdoms of Ghana and Tanzania. In Ghana, my maternal ancestors were the people who built the mighty Ashanti Empire. They were master craftsmen and women who created the intricate patterns of kente cloth. They were the chiefs who led with wisdom, the medicine women who healed with ancient knowledge. They were warriors who protected their people with fierce devotion. Our ancestors understood the sacred connection between earth and spirit. They were deeply spiritual and connected to the nature that they honored in Yahweh, the supreme God, and they kept alive the teachings of our forebears through ritual and prayer. They knew the power of ancestor veneration, a truth my father would rediscover centuries later when he first set foot on African soil. In Tanzania, my paternal ancestors were the architects of Swahili culture. In the 1700s, they built great coral stone buildings with wooden doors so beautifully carved that they stood as works of art. They were master traders that controlled the spice routes, filling the air with the scent of cloves and possibility. They were storytellers who wove our history into song and dance, keeping our traditions alive through the power of art, just as my father would embrace generations later. I know who I am because my father made sure I knew this truth. When he prepared for his role of Kunta Kinte and Roots, he didn't just study the part. He moved our family to Monrovia, Liberia. He didn't know then that he was standing on the same red dirt and the West African coast where our ancestors lived, but his spirit knew. The moment he arrived, he said he was home. He felt the connection in his bones. When my father stepped into the role of James Evans, he wasn't just playing a part. He was carrying the hopes and dreams of millions of Black fathers who had never seen themselves truly reflected on television. He was quoted as saying, "Millions will be watching me, and I want to play the role of a father with authenticity and integrity." The producers, though, had their own ideas of what a Black father should be, their narrow vision of an angry, struggling man. But who would know better what a Black father could be than a man who grew up without a father of his own? A man who dreamed of what that father would be and what he wanted to become. My father knew that James Evans needed to be more than just a stereotype. He needed to be a provider, a protector, and a man of dignity and strength. This wasn't just a role for him, it was a mission. Whether he was playing the protective father and Coming to America, the dedicated dad and All About the Andersons, or James Evans in Good Times, he showed the world what a Black father could be. Strong yet tender, strict yet loving, imperfect yet always present. And in real life, he was that same protector. If one of his children fell down, he was there to pick us up. And even in his final days, when he could barely care for himself, he would still try to show up for his children, sometimes to his own detriment. That was my father. Complex, flawed, but fiercely devoted. I remember our last dance together on the weathered porch of his home in Colorado. As Luther Vandross's Dance with My Father played, we swayed together, healing years of complexity in that simple moment. The fragrant mountain air that carried the weight of our unspoken words, our forgiveness freely given of love that transcended all of our struggles. The last time I spoke to my father in the hospital, he said, "Shannon, baby, keep loving yourself." Those words hold so much wisdom. You see, he knew I was doing the work to break the chains of generational trauma. He knew I was pouring not just into myself, but into my daughter and our community. He knew I would be okay because I remembered who I was. On August 21st, as I stood at the water's edge of Trincones, Mexico, offering gifts to Yemaya during a sacred ancestor ceremony, the most magnificent sunset painted the sky. I didn't know then that my father was making his transition, but somehow my spirit knew. I was speaking to him, and I was asking our ancestors to guide his way home, telling him I was there with him in spirit, and to just follow that light. There's an African proverb that says, which Pastor Maria shared with you, a tree cannot stand without its roots. My father understood this truth. He knew that our power as Black people, as Black fathers, as Black families, lies in remembering who we are and staying connected to our ancestral wisdom and loving ourselves first so that we can pour that love into our children and our community. As Sabonfu Some, the Gar West African elder, teaches us, without a strong connection to our ancestors, we're like a tree without roots, a child without parents. My father now sits with the Council of Elders, having fought the good fight, having done the best he could do with the tools he was given. He showed us that the role of a Black father is sacred. It's about protection, provision, and passing down the wisdom of who we truly are. Each night, I light a candle for my dad, knowing that his spirit lives on in the hearts of his grandchildren, in the legacy he created on screen, and in the wisdom he left behind. Brothers and sisters, family, soul family, love yourself. Remember who you are, and stay connected to your roots. Put down your phones and get back to nature. Because when you do this, you not just honor our fathers and our mothers, but all those who came before us and all those who will come after. Thank you.
How you all doing? I welcome you guys back on here. If you're new, consider subscribing, liking, and also share this video. So John Amos got a grand send-off in the form of an emotional memorial service with a solid turnout from Hollywood. According to a footage I actually saw online, it was one of those ceremonies that was really colorful. It had lots of people, friends, family, the likes of fans that gathered. Actually, tickets were early on sold online. I saw a post from Shannon Amos, the daughter of John Amos, coming out on via her official Facebook and Instagram, letting everyone know online that the tickets were on sale, and of course they were free. You had just to book so that you could attend the service. They expected more than 800 people, that were together to celebrate, to pay tributes to the good times star that is John Amos. He was remembered by his family and famous friends on Saturday during a service that was in East Orange, that is in New Jersey, with some a couple of performances from R&B artists, the likes of Monifah, gospel singer Karen Poole, and platinum producer Tontiel Cross. It was really a colorful ceremony, and John Amos's daughter, like you've seen at the beginning of this video, Shannon Amos, told the reporters that the mayor of East Orange gave them give their dad a proclamation and announced plans to both East Orange High School football field and a street in his honor. So, in a way, to celebrate the life, the legacy, and of course the impact of John Amos, the mayor of East Orange had to, announce that John Amos is going to be celebrated and commemorated, and of course, the East Orange High School football field and the street will be named John Amos in honor of him. So, John, we all know he passed on back in August as a result of congestive heart failure, but Shannon claimed at the time that she didn't know that her dad had passed away until October when the brother K.C. Amos announced it in the media. Shannon and K.C. have been, of course, at the center of a couple of heated arguments sparked last year, and of course, Shannon was accused by the elder brother K.C., of abusing John's care, an allegation of John and K.C., which actually both denied at the time. So on this occasion, we want to send our messages of sympathies and, of course, prayers to the family, fans, and, of course, those who really loved John Amos. Rest in power the King, John Amos.